Right. So if you are anything like me, there is a very good chance that you purchased an iPad for a large sum of money, but you barely actually use the iPad. And for me, and maybe for you as well, I think it really boils down to it's just not comfortable to use for a long period of time. Especially, if you're in a bed or you're on a couch and you're just, trying to casually scroll like a web page or something, and you're trying to balance this, metal piece of slab like you're performing in like a circus or something. Yeah, so I started looking for accessories that I can use with my iPad to make it easier to use on a day-to-day basis. So today we're checking out the universal tablet hand strap holder. Wow, that's a lot for my 11-inch iPad. Yeah, so by the end of the video, I'll be able to tell you if this accessory makes it easier to use my iPad. I'll discuss, one feature I do wish this accessory had, and then I'll finish up by letting you know if this accessory makes me want to use my iPad more in comparison to me using my iPhone. Because, if this accessory can make the iPad more comfortable to use, I think I might start reaching for my iPad more than my iPhone. Now, the cool thing about this accessory, it's really super simple. There's, no adhesive, there's no magnets, and the setup is pretty straightforward. So yeah, what you basically do is you hook one side of the corner on the tablet, and then you stretch it across, and then you hook the other side, and that's pretty much it. I would say the installation takes no more than 10 to 15 seconds, if that. Yeah, and once it was attached, it really felt really secure. I never really felt like the iPad would slip out of my hand, which, to be honest, was one of my main concerns. Yeah, because the last thing I wanted to is drop this expensive iPad on the floor, which definitely could be a huge, expensive mistake. Now, one of the things I really like about this holder is the adjustable Velcro strap. I think it really changes the experience as opposed to you're holding your iPad on the side of its bezels. Your hand kind of rests naturally behind it. And it actually makes the iPad feel lighter to hold, especially when you're using it one-handed. So yeah, if you're on your iPad, reading, or you're on Netflix or YouTube or FaceTime, or if you're, doom scrolling, whatever you're doing, it just makes the experience more enjoyable. And if you have big hands like me, there's enough wiggle room for adjustment in the strap to fit almost any hand, particularly with someone like big hands like myself. Now, there were a couple of things that I do wish were better. The actual rotating grip, it kind of spins around freely, which sounds like a benefit of this accessory. But at some point when you're using it, it almost feels like you're trying to steer your car. So that's not something I would say is a deal breaker, but definitely something I wanted to point out. Now, I will say there is some resistance, but I wish there was more resistance, or maybe some sort of locking mechanism to keep your iPad in one position when you're actually using it. Also, and I'm kind of nitpicking here, the corners actually, it covers the display just by a little bit. I mean, the bezels on the iPad, at least the iPad 11-inch, they're very thin. So just wanted to point that out as well. I wouldn't say it's a deal breaker, but it's definitely something to keep in mind, and I wanted to point out to you guys. Now, one thing that I think would have made this accessory perfect if there was a place, maybe on the elastic band, to slip in your Apple Pencil. I think a lot of us who have iPads probably have an Apple Pencil, so I think this would have definitely been a bonus. I know there's a lot of you guys that don't have an Apple Pencil, but I think just having that would have added a little bit more value. And I think I probably would have paid a couple extra bucks for that. Now, this doesn't just work for the iPad Pro. It works for tablets between 9 and 11 inches. So for your Kindles, your Galaxy tabs, what else is out there? Your Android tablets. This should actually work. Just make sure it's between a 9 and 11 inch frame itself. Now, in terms of the build quality, this strap, it feels really nice. It feels premium. The Velcro is extremely strong. And it just feels well built. It doesn't feel like it's going to fall apart at any moment. Now, one other nice thing, it comes in a lot of different colors. I went with black because I'm pretty boring, but it comes in blue. It comes in magenta. It comes in green, and it also comes in this like floral pattern that kind of reminds me of like wallpaper at my grandmother's house. But yeah, now for the important question of the day, the super important question of the day. Did this accessory make me want to use my iPad more? No, not, not really. I still grab my iPhone when I want to look something up. But I will say this, when I actually do use my iPad, it is definitely more comfortable to use. So I can definitely recommend this accessory for that. And I think that's what this accessory is primarily for. And get this, if you really want to use your iPad or your tablet more, this I think removes some of that friction in terms of holding your tablet for a long period of time, in terms of where your wrists or your hands they get tired. Lastly, before I wrap up, thank you so much for watching the video to the end. I think this is an accessory Apple should have made from the get-go when iPads first started to come out. But otherwise, I appreciate you guys watching, and I will talk to you in the next one later. Bye-bye.